Danger Dave FPV. I was wanting to show everybody a new little quad that I ended up getting from Gnarly FPV. You can look it up. He's got a website, GNARLYFPV.com. I can actually show you. But yeah, they sent this little guy over. It's got the 7x16 motors on it. So yeah, it's a huge upgrade over what the stock Blade Inductrix has. Blade Inductrix has like a 6x15, I believe. 6x15, 7x16. Another thing, it's got on-screen display. You can select your channel on the back side right here. I do not know what the on-screen display as far as the maker of OSD, but it does work really well. The big benefit of having on-screen display is where if you've got a Inductrix, a stock Inductrix that don't have OSD, so if you think that you've got 5mm or 5 minutes, Lord, I can't talk, 5 minutes of flight time, you probably don't. More than likely, you're going to get outside on a windier day, and your flight time is going to be reduced. Your PID controller is going to have to compensate for the outside forces pushing it around, so it's going to drain your battery a little bit quicker. But the flight controller is beta flight configurable, so you can hook it up, change your PIDs, your rates, do a couple tweaks if you'd like to with the filters, which I've not messed with that at all. I just did get this in the mail. So the maker of the flight controller is Beta FPV. It's the brushed micro. You can set it up, I believe, with frsky and with spektrum. I've got this one was sent to me. It's a spektrum based. For now, I'm using a radio I got from a good friend off of Quad Squad. It's a group that I'm a member of. Thank you, Ghost Rider. I appreciate that. Us working that out so I could get my boy a radio for the little Inductrix. But yeah, it does have 3D printed mount for your camera, your on-screen display. The props are a little different. They're different from your normal Inductrix props. The actual hole for the actual shaft to slide down onto, the 7x16s are a little bit bigger as far as the shaft goes, so you'll have to get props that does work with the 7x16. It's not a big deal. They sent me a set of tri-blades. Tri-blades is probably going to be a little bit more speed maybe, but then again it should have less thrust on tri-blades versus your 4-prop. Yeah, so I don't know if you want to change them out. It's got plenty of power. Honestly, I used to go through the house with the Inductrix pretty much at 80 to 100% throttle. Wasn't that big a deal. But this, I'm lucky to basically get away from 50% throttle because it's got tons more power. It's got more punch. The flight time is similar to the stock Inductrix, but you're hauling butt. I mean, you are going a lot quicker with this setup. It does come with 2mm power plug. If you have an Inductrix, you're familiar with the 1 1/4. The big benefit, not only that you're going to get a little bit more amperage that flows through this wire, but a lot of people has tested and said that they've got better flight time with a 2mm versus a 1 1/4. So overall, it's going to perform a lot better when you have 2mm. So I'm sure he knows that. Of course he would know that because he's the maker. But 3D printed stabilizer. It's going to help a lot with the ducts from squeezing in and flexing. It's probably going to be a lot better during crashes. It's not going to be able to bust the ducts completely off. And this, I would have said that it was a cockroach frame, but it is not. It looks like a upgraded 7mm frame, kind of like a stock Inductrix, but with a little bit bigger motor. The shafts, pretty much, a little bit bigger. So yeah, just check him out. I found him on RC groups and spoke with him on there, and I'm sure if you're a member on there, he's probably going to give you a little bit better deal than just the general person that's looking at it online at his website. So I'd hit him up. And if you got any questions, I'm sure he'll help you out before you even buy it. I mean, he seems like a pretty honest person and does really well with the way he sets it up from his manufacturer. He already had it set up to where I didn't really have to do much besides buying my radio, which if you run Spektrum, you'll have to go into the CLI of your Betaflight configurator and set it up. If you're a Spektrum guy, you know how to set that up. All it does is activates the flight controller to go into bind mode, and once you bind it up with your radio, you go back in and you type in another code that's Spektrum based, and you're pretty much set up. So you just go maybe change your rates, and the stock PIDs didn't feel bad at all. Mine's still stock PIDs on mine right now. So, but yeah, if you got any questions, just feel free to comment to me. I'll try to help you out. But if you're interested in this, I'd definitely check it out. I'm not just blowing smoke up your skirt. It is powerful. I mean, it is a huge difference over Inductrix. So, you guys, I appreciate everybody that subscribed lately. Yeah, let's just keep on kicking it, man. I mean, it's a hobby that everybody can learn off of, and we learn stuff every day. I mean, it's really enjoyable to actually be able to go and fly and take a little bit of tension off when you've had a rough day. So, alright guys, I appreciate it. Now, I about forgot, didn't I? I want to check the weight. So you are looking at 28 grams. That's everything except for the LiPo. Stock Inductrix, considering it does have tri-blades, is really 20 grams. Huge difference though. 7x16 motors on the Gnarly, plus I got the tri-blades instead of these. You don't have on-screen display. You've got 1¼ millimeter power cable, so I'm sure that's a little bit lighter. It just don't flow much power through it. Yeah, I don't really recommend that at all. But yeah, guys, 27 grams. It does not hinder the performance. It is way stronger than any blade Inductrix. I mean, huge difference. I'm sure you could just change out your flight controller and the motors and have really good performance. But to be honest with you, I think you can go with one of the versions for like 79 or 89 bucks, and you're pretty much already there by the time you put a flight controller, motors, on-screen display. You're pretty much already there by just trying to modify this Inductrix. So you're better off just to really go with the Gnarly Whoop. Also, I'm not getting paid to show this. I'm just wanting to show everybody what I enjoy. Something new to me. It's pretty impressive. I love to have something that I can actually change the PIDs on, because this guy, which it's my son still, it's his. It just has oscillations like crazy. That's what bothered me so much with it. But this, you can actually go in there and change some stuff around and actually take that out. But this one flew great from the get-go. I've only had it for today, so I'm sure in a couple months I'll be able to come back and tell you the update of how it's held together, how it's doing. So, alright guys, take care, good night.